Hey y'all, it's Christine from HollisHandsCreate. It's Wednesday, September 2nd. Welcome to my Flosstube channel, episode number 15. Hope everyone is doing well. September is starting off with a bang here in North Texas. We've had nothing but nasty thunderstorms for the last 2 days. We've had such high humidity and temperatures, and we set a record this last week. I think the regular temp was 108 with the heat index of like 115. And now we've been just slammed with thunderstorms. There was so much, I guess, instability in the air. So September 1st has really been kind of crazy, but I'm looking forward to fall. It's my favorite time of the year. Getting ready to have my daughter come and visit. That's exciting. Savannah's flying in tomorrow from Seattle and staying through Labor Day weekend, so we're really excited about that. It'll be a short visit, but it's going to be a nice one. She's so funny. She said, I'm kind of looking forward to getting to be the only child home. Most of the time when everybody comes to visit, it's at the holiday and all 3 kids are here. And so she's like, I just want to be the only child. So anyway, she's already asking for some of her favorite dishes to be made, and I think we're just gonna probably hang by the pool most of the time, so that should be fun. Let's see, what else? Well, this weekend, and while Savannah's home, I'm actually gonna go through the process of converting the house to fall, which is always exciting. It's my favorite time. It's the stitching that I love the best. My birthday is next month. My husband's birthday is next month. And I'm a sucker for the autumn colors. I love the deep, rich tones, you know, the cinnamons and nutmegs and that kind of thing. So I'm just excited. This is like my favorite time. I do leave a little bit of the sunflower kinds of things out for September, but then I bring out the just regular fall things, not Halloween. Halloween doesn't come out until October 1st. So anyway, we'll be doing that this weekend, and that's pretty exciting. So anyway, let's get on to stitching. A couple of videos ago, I did have, you know, the 2 short videos that I had done over the last 14 days to give away the Women of the Mayflower kit, the chart kit, which was very exciting, and thank you to everyone who participated in that. Sherry received all of her goodies, and she is just very excited. I think in her comment, she actually said she cried when she heard her name. So that was very exciting. And anyway, the kickoff for that is September 6th. So that's been kind of cool. But in my last longer video, I did have a question. Sherry asked how I stitched on the berry bowl, which, you know, has the 2 fabrics sewn together. She wanted to know how I stitched it together, and is it hard to stitch through? So I'll show you real quick. Here is their berry bowl sampler, which is done by Heartstring, Samplery, and the Scarlett House as a collaboration. And I don't think I've shown this in a little bit. I didn't iron, y'all, but here is my progress. The last thing I just finished was that monster bowl on the bottom there with the black basket. But how I did mine, and I have 2 Picture This Plus fabrics. The one thing that I would suggest is that when you're putting your 2 fabrics together, that you stick with like fabrics. The PTP fabrics are gonna be similar. You know, if you're using R&R, those are gonna be similar. If you're using, you know, whatever, but whatever brand of linen or dyer that's coming from, I would just suggest that you use maybe 2 colors or something from that same dyer. The consistency that you're gonna have in the linen is gonna be the same. The holes are gonna be easier to line up and things like that. So I did machine stitch mine. And I'll show you kind of the back. So basically I put it together, right? And just basically kind of eyeballed. Now mine is on 40 count, so the holes are pretty small, but I just lined it up And then on my sewing machine, I stretched the stitch to almost like a basting stitch. And then following my, my stitch guide, I just ran a seam right down along a thread. I could line my seam line up on my machine with a main thread, and I followed that thread with that basting stitch all the way down. And I've had no problems whatsoever. As you can kind of see, well, I should have ironed it, I'm sorry. But I've had no issues with it. Now, when you come to talking about stitching through, I didn't really stitch through. What I did was, as I was coming through to do this cartouche, on either side, you'll see there's an X here and an X here. There's only one that crosses over on the seam, and that was at the top. If you look at the pattern, you actually don't get that at the bottom. So what I did was just very carefully held the seam, because I stitch mostly in hand. I held the seam with my hand underneath, and then with the needle in this hand on top, I came through, and as I was going down, I flipped the seam to the other side and went down on that side. And it has worked out really well. What that did was it forced my seam then to lay flat to this one side. And it has worked out really well. And that's the only thing that's really gonna go across the seam is the cartouche. So I had no issues, at all. And I think if you might have to just kind of maneuver it a little bit, but it should go pretty easily. So good question. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. So that's a whip. I'm due on Monday nights. That's for the Berry Bowl Sal. So I haven't had a tremendous amount of progress. I probably spent 3 weeks doing that big old basket, because it's just, it's just really a lot of stitching in that one basket. So I'm excited this next Monday to launch into maybe some of the smaller ones and see a little bit more progress. So let's just move on, since that's a whip, let's just move on to my other whips. I'm very excited about my Wednesday, my Walter Wednesday, which is Ann Thomas, 1854, Hands Across the Sea Samplers. Love, love, love this one. And here's my progress. So this last Wednesday, I had a page finish, and the big question was, go south and work on some more of Walter, or go west and do more of the flowers that go around him. He almost has a bit of a wreath. It's not quite closed on this side, but almost a bit of like a wreath that goes around. And my reasoning for going west and working on and doing some more of the flowers is, if I stitch the rest of Walter right now, my fear is I'm not going to want to go back and finish. There's an awful lot of flowers. You got 2 more small birds that are going to be up on either side here, and that's it. And the rest is all floral. And I was just like, you know what? If I go for the candy first, the dessert, I'm not going to eat the dinner. So I went ahead and worked on this. Now, what I'm thinking I might do is, for this next stitching time for him, I may go just a little bit further down and then go back to the flowers. So I'm just gonna have to discipline myself to not stitch all of him as quickly as I would really like to make sure that I keep going on this. And I've been stitching that one on Wednesdays with my friend Becky, who socks for Mom. She and I have been doing the Walter Wednesdays. And anyway, really love him, really love him. This is what I'm working on and almost finished with. You've seen me show this one, a new Constellation, Plum Street Samplers. And I started this on Memorial Day. And my goal was to get her finished by Labor Day. And of course, that means I have 5 more days. And here's where I'm looking so far. Very excited to get this one finished. I think she's just beautiful. So what I have to do is finish up this flower stuff in here. There's some green leaves that I need to clean or to fill in here, up here. And then that resolution, the words that go in the center, which says resolved, that the flag of the United States be 13 stripes, alternated red and white, that the Union be 13 stars, white in a blue field, representing a new constellation. And then I just have to put in the year here. The thing with that is it doesn't sound like much, right? And resolved is all 2/2 or 1/2 stitching, but the rest of that wording is all over 1. So that's going to be just a bit tedious. And so tonight, it's Wednesday, and I typically would work on Walter, but I'm going to give up Walter Wednesday and really see if I can't get this done. I really want to accomplish my goal and have it done by Labor Day. So that means I got to kick it into high gear and hopefully do a lot tonight, because then Savannah arrives tomorrow. And so, but she's going to be on West Coast time, which is an extra 2 hours. So I may be able to get up in the mornings and do some stitching while she's still sleeping. So, because she typically would sleep until 8:30 and 9 o'clock anyway, but then she's going to be, off by 2 hours. So that may give me some stitching time as well. So, let's see. Next, I did go through some of my WIPs to see where I was sitting with potentially being able to finish some autumn things. And I pulled this one out, Autumn Dream at Cottage Garden Samplings. I absolutely love this. And I didn't take it off here, but this is how far I have gotten. I think since last I did the leaves, this took it up to the side here, did the leaves here, and I actually, you can kind of see if I do that, did that real big leaf on the top. So what I have to do, or what would be next, is to do this Bittersweet berries section right here and bring this on down. So, these leaves are here in the center, but my thing is, I don't know if I am in love with these 2 big leaves here. So I'm gonna stitch this, I'm gonna finish this. I probably will do, maybe some of this, but I don't know if I'm gonna, see if I do that, and maybe leave that one off. I don't know, I might kind of like that better. Or just put, I don't know, I'm gonna rearrange this just a little bit. So I'm not 100% sure how that's gonna play out, but anyway, so I'm working on that one. We'll see how that goes. And then I had 2 new starts. About 2 weeks ago, I had been working quite a bit. The shop has been extremely busy. And so I've been working until about 7 o'clock in the evening, and then we do dinner. And then by the time, I get seated sometimes to even think about stitching, it's like 9 o'clock. And so I looked down at my whip basket, which sits next to my chair, and there was just nothing I wanted to stitch on. And I haven't had that happen in a little while, but it happens, right? So I went into my kitted basket in my sewing room, and I pulled out this Bittersweet September. I really just felt the urge to build that house. So I did. I sat down at about 9:15 and I stitched until, I don't know, it was like 12:30. I just still have it in my hoop, and I built that house. Now, this stuff and this, that's bottom half of a crow, and the moon I have done since. So what I decided to do was make this my lunchtime stitch. I am making a concentrated effort to sit down for at least 20 minutes and eat lunch during the day, because I have a tendency, as I get working in my room and packing orders and things, and I'm like, my goal is to get as many out obviously every day as I possibly can, and sometimes I haven't stopped at all, and I usually start about 8 o'clock in the morning, and I've been working until like 6, 7 o'clock at night, and then my back is sore, and you know, you're hungry, and then I have a tendency to not eat very well because I'm just grabbing something. So I thought, you know what, I gotta be a little more disciplined about this. And so this is now my lunchtime. So since I have been doing this for lunchtime, I've added this little thing, I filled in the windows, added the bottom part of this crow, the moon, and filled in the door and these bottom 2 windows. So I just pick another little thing to do and to stitch that real quick while I'm eating my lunch, and then put it away, and I'm making progress, which is nice to see. And it's not a huge, you know, a huge project, but it just kind of takes my mind away from everything that I still need to do, and makes me relax just a little bit, because like y'all, cross stitching, you know, for me is just, it's takes my mind away from the worries of the day or whatever's going on. I find it very relaxing. So that's my first new start. My second new start is not cross stitch at all, but it's very exciting and relates back to Brittany. And we found out, I guess about 2 months ago, that we're gonna be grandparents, gonna be a nana. So I'm very excited about that. Everybody's been asking, or at least my kids have been asking, you know, what do you think you want to be called? Well, in Italian, grandma is nonna, which of course is very close to nana. So I have a feeling, since my grandchild is going to be, you know, primarily raised in Italy, that I'm going to end up with being called nana or nana. And I'm fine with that. I'm totally fine with that. So my kids called my mother-in-law Tootsie. She used to ask Brittany when she was little, like maybe 2 years old, if she was her Tootsie Wootsie. And she'd say, "Are you my Tootsie Wootsie?" And it was the sweetest thing. And, you know, Brittany would respond back and be like, you know, you're my Tootsie Wootsie. And it just stuck. And next thing you know, she was Grandma Tootsie. And I kind of love that. Unfortunately, because we live in a different continent, I'm hoping to have that kind of, you know, relationship with the baby, but we'll see. She does not know, and she's not going to find out what the sex of the baby is. So when you're doing baby registries and things like that nowadays, and you don't know, which is kind of a rarity, I think. Everybody likes to do the gender reveal parties and all that kind of stuff. Brittany's not like that. She's, matter of fact, they haven't even really told very many people. And they didn't tell us until they were about 4 months. Now, part of that was not that they were trying to keep it a secret from everybody, but she wanted to wait until after she'd had her first big doctor's appointment with an ultrasound to make sure everything was okay before they told everybody. But that appointment ended up delayed by like 6 weeks because of all of the restrictions at the hospitals
there out in Milan because of COVID. So when she did finally get in there, the doctor said to her, well, you know, you're already almost 16 weeks and, you know, we're just seeing you. And Brittany was like, well, it's not because we haven't tried to make an appointment. And so it's, you know, it was delayed, you know, so now it seems like it's coming along really fast. She's due like November 7th and it's already September. I'm hoping to get to go over there. I don't know that that's going to be possible with the travel restrictions, and because the U.S. numbers are so out of control still, the EU has blocked travel from anyone in the United States. So my plan was to go for the month of November, but we'll have to just see if that's actually going to work. So we've been doing a lot of FaceTime, and she's sending pictures, and anyway, it's been, you know, it's been interesting. So I started I did these for my sister and a couple others when they needed, or were having their kids. This is like a car seat blanket. So, and it's coming across a little deeper in saturation and colors than it actually is. But basically, I just sat down one evening and was like, you know what, I'm going to do a little car seat blanket. And it's gorgeous baby yarn. And then I will do a larger baby Afghan as well. But the car seat blankets, everybody that I have given them to has just been like, can you make us several of these? Because they're not super long, they're not super wide, so that they tuck in without dragging off of the bottom of the car seat, which I know used to drive me crazy whenever we, you know, pick up the car seat and then the blanket would be, you know, or the baby would kick the bottom loose, and then it would be dragging and get all dirty and torn up and whatever. So anyway, that's kind of exciting. Very exciting news. I've been waiting for a while to be able to announce it. But now she's showing enough that there's no denying what's going on. She said, you know, for quite a while it was just like, well, I've been, you know, quarantining, and, you know, so she had some COVID fluff is what she called it. Brittany's actually about 5'9.5" and weighs about 120 to 125 pounds max. So she's very tall and thin. Hence the reason, you know, she modeled for so many years. But now she's, you know, there's no hiding it. If you know her, you know that there's something going on. And in the last 3-4 weeks, she's popped. The baby has popped, and so she's definitely showing. So now I felt like it was, you know, it was an okay time, and she was all right with, you know, with me actually announcing it. So, so that's very cool. We're very excited. It's his first grandbaby, so for us, and so we're just super excited. Let's see. Okay, so that was my second new start. Let's go through. I did want to also, on that same video 2 ago, the question that I had asked people to answer was what kind of frame or how you stitch. And it was very interesting to go back through and read all the comments. It's really varied. A lot of people stitching in hand. A lot of people still using hoops. Some Q-snaps. Some frames, like frames with stands, like Lowry frames, or different kinds of frames. It really was all over the board. There was not a consensus, which just kind of goes to prove, you know, you do you, right? Whatever you're most comfortable with. I do a lot of stitching in hand. My little, I did show my little Bittersweet September in a hoop because it's pretty small, and I wanted to get a hoop that was kind of big enough to hold the piece of fabric, but also so I could just pick it up each day at lunch. And I don't care if there's a hoop mark, because where that hoop mark is going to be turned into a pillow, so it's never going to show. So I did pull out an old hoop you know, for that one. But for the most part, I either stitch in hand, or depending upon the size of the fabric, like with Walter, I use this Erica Wilson lap stand, and this just, you know, pops on there, and it just sits right in, and I sit on it, and the hoop is like right there, and that's what I use. I have a large frame, and I have never been successful at pulling that up where I'm not having to lean up or something, and then I have lower back issues, and within, you know, minutes, I'm struggling with it. I have the same problems when I'm sitting at sewing machine. I have a big lumbar support that I have to sit with to be able to kind of prop my back, because it really bothers me quite a lot. But that was just, it was just very interesting. If, you know, if you're interested in going back, you can look at all those comments and just see the differences. But anyway, there's no right way to stitch. There's just the way that you like to stitch, right? On to haul. I mentioned about converting the house. So my haul has not been so much about, you know, buying just charts and linen and things like that, though I did buy a couple of charts. I did get Manor at Peacock Hill. Turn it that way you can see the design. By Brenda Gervais with the needle and thread. I really love a funky bird, and I think he's just completely cool. And the little people are standing here on the side, you know, and here he is. So I get that one. And then I did get the Summer Schoolhouse. I don't know if you guys have been watching Colorado Stitcher, Sherry. She has, I think, a couple of Flosstubes out. If you haven't watched her, go watch her. She was a model stitcher for Cricket Collection, which I thought was really cool. And she actually, I think, owns a yarn shop, but she's come back to stitching, and everything she's showing is really cool, and she's really fast. Anyway, so I bought the Summer Schoolhouse series. So there's, you know, the different lessons, right? But why I was inspired to get these is in watching how she stitched hers, because she just finished these. And she, instead of doing the individual pillows or individual, she stitched it all on one. And I was just like, I love that. So I messaged her and told her that I was inspired by her finishing it all as one banner. And I'm probably going to, I wouldn't say steal her idea, because she's already done it, but I'm going to borrow her idea. I absolutely love that. I don't know when I'm gonna do it, but I got all four so that I could do it. Let's see. So that was Stitchy related. Nancy Turner at Victorian Motto has really been struggling with the postal service. Bless her heart. So I did finally get my July linens at the end of August, but they were worth the wait. Absolutely gorgeous. Old Colonial, and it's showing pretty well there. Absolutely love that. I have an extra light set up today because it is so overcast and nasty out that there was not any good lighting. And then this one is called Shadows, and I get that in a 36 count, and I really love that too. That's really nice. So anyway, just wanted to show those. I have not gotten my August fabric yet, but it seems to be running, for us at least, almost a month behind. Not so much in just her getting it out, but also it's taking at least 3 weeks to get to us from her. So the mail, you know, bless their hearts. I mean, I'm at the post office every day, and I'm seeing how hard they're working, but they're doing the best they can with what they've, you know, what cards they've been dealt. So, but here's what I've been mostly buying and getting ready for converting the house. I absolutely have fallen in love with everything that Michelle at UndertheWoolenWillow, that's UndertheWoolenWillow, makes. Here's her little card that she includes, and she makes these little pennies, attaches them to big paper clips, and I'm starting a whole collection of those because you get one of those with every order. I have one that I use on my book, on my planning book, which is kind of nice. So I have been buying from her quite a lot. This guy, I think I might have shown you this, but since it's gonna come out for this decor that's about to come out for fall, I thought I would show you again that I had gotten this from her. Now, I do have to say, this is all messed up now. My little crow is not quite as black as he should be because my little cat, Sadie, decided, ooh, bird. And I mean, she jumped up on the thing, she plucked this guy out and ran with it. And I had to chase her down. But in the meantime, you know, it drug across the carpet and it's wool, so it attracts every little fuzz there is. But anyway, so that's gonna come out. And I just got these from her. Look at these. Oh, I love these. Aren't these so super cool? And her finishing with the button on the bottom and everything is just so neat. I absolutely love these. Now, I may have a bit of a fight on my hands with the raffia and Sadie. We'll see how that goes. And then I love shaker boxes. I think we all love shaker boxes. But I saw Brenda from Sampler Stitcher, Brenda Sampler Stitcher, Brenda and the Serial Starter, Laura, showed this on, I don't believe it was this past Sunday, but the Sunday before this purchase. And I immediately went right over to get this tomato pincushion that is seated in a little mini shaker. Is that not the coolest? Look at that. I love this. And it's called Early Americana Workshop and Studio. And they're in New Hampshire. And the cutest little tomato pincushion is what it says. And it gives you the little care instructions. And then on the back says, enjoy, John and Diane. So it's a couple. John's doing these, Diana's doing this. And then Primsicle. I don't know if you've seen this on Instagram, Primsicle shop. She was doing a sale. Get this open. Little box. And then it was full of goodies, which I really thought was cool. Some more of this vintage ruler. And she says, you know, little thank you bag of buttons, some trims. So I just thought, well, that is just really cool. Now I will say, I had to be Johnny on the spot to actually get this box because as soon as she was putting things onto Instagram, you had to message, you know, me, you know, below the picture to get something, and they were like lightning fast within seconds of it being posted. So you have to have good internet connection when you're buying from that. So those were my purchases that were kind of, you know, Stitchy related, but also looking at fall decor. And since I was looking at getting ready to do my fall decor, I went to my FFO pile to see what needed to be finished. And I had a few things, so I kind of got started. This first one is actually a design that I did myself. And it's based off of a gourd that I have that I bought a long time ago that I just love. And it's a two-piece gourd, and it's got the bottom is stained pumpkin color. And then the top of the gourd is left in more of a natural state. And then I just made them like a ghost and a jack-o'-lantern, and added the words eek and boo And I did this on PC Stitch. This was not easy. You know, kudos to all the designers because this is not easy to do. But then I stitched it and then framed it, and I'm very happy with how that came out. So that'll go out in October. I had finished stitching from Primitive Hair, Trick or Treat Pumpkin, and was really like, I didn't know how I wanted to finish it. I didn't stitch the frame thing around the outside because I felt like if I did that, it was gonna hem me into having to frame it. And I have an awful lot of framed pieces that will be coming out here pretty quickly. And you know, you only have so much wall space or easels to stand things on or whatever. So I thought, well, you know what? I happen to have a wooden cutout that I had gotten, I don't even remember where, Hobby Lobby, Michael's, somewhere. And I thought, you know, I'd done this on a pretty good sized piece of fabric. So I basically just wrapped the fabric around the wooden cutout and used double-sided tape on the back to hold it in place. And then I was like, okay, now what do I do? Because obviously this is supposed to be the stem, and actually the wooden cutout has a hole in here, but I didn't want to cut a hole into my fabric that close to the design here. And so I thought, all right, well, you know what? I actually have some of this, like the rough hewn twine kind of stuff, and I had an orange and green. So I took it and just glued the edge around here, glued around the edge here with the orange for the pumpkin, the green for the stem, and there you go. Trick or Treat Pumpkin by the Primitive Hair. And I'm really happy with it. I really am happy with how this turned out. So I did just order some things from one of the craft suppliers. It's like a little spidery thing, and I also ordered a little black crow. So I may actually attach that so that it looks like it's kind of sitting up here. We'll see. Hopefully they'll be coming in the next day or so, and I'm probably going to sit that on an easel and then attach that, probably that little crow or something on the top, like he's perched on top of the pumpkin. So I think that'll be kind of cool. I did have one FFO that's not really fall related, but this was in my pile, and I had run across this 7x7 frame at TJ Maxx for, I don't know, what was it, $4.99? And I had this particular design stitched, which I knew would fit exactly in a 7x7 frame just perfectly. I just pulled the mat out and framed that myself. So this is from Little House Needleworks, and it's Necessity Sampler. And if you'll see, you know, you got the A, B, C, D, F, and then F says fabric, and then you get down to N, it says needle, and you keep on going, you get to the T and it says thread. I had finished this last year, so my initials, 2019. So it's time to get it framed, so that one's just gonna go ahead and get onto the wall now that I've shown it. And then I had this one that I had stitched and shown y'all that needed to be finished. Love One Another from Plum Street Samplers. And to me, it's kind of a rustic look or a rustic finish. And so I had this little hanging board that is definitely, you know, kind of a rustic look, primitive look. And I thought, you know, I'm just gonna put it on foam core and mount it on there and then see how I like it. So I have pulled out several different trims because I kept thinking, well, does it need a trim to go around the edge? And I don't know. Some of them I pulled out, they weren't the right color. Some were, you know, rickrack, which I didn't really care for the rickrack. I do have this rusted nail chenille, which I could use around the edge, and it matches pretty close color-wise. But here's the thing. I don't know. I don't think so. I can't decide. I can't decide if I think it needs that, you know, because chenille can maybe look a little too finished or fluffy, and this is kind of a primitive looking thing. So, and I'm probably gonna leave this up because I think the love one another is just a good lesson regardless. So, I don't know, let me know what you think. Comment below and see what you think. So I got those done. I have one more that I had to wait for some black velveteen. I have some somewhere in this house, and I have searched and searched high and low and cannot find it. So I had to order some more. And as soon as that comes in, I have one more that I'll finish and I'll show you on the next video. So going into my plans, I'll just zip through that real quick. Since I've been digging through and looking for the fall stitching things, the Halloween stitching things, and you know, again, like I said that before, I love this time. So I pulled out some things that I wanted to stitch, and first one is Night Watch by Scattered Seed Samplers. Absolutely love that. Isn't that cool? And these are not huge, which is nice. And I have it in my bag that I just got from Pretty Southern, Linda Jo. Love this. And this is one of her smaller bags, which I love for these small stitches because you don't really need a great big bag sometimes. So that one is all kitted up and ready to start. The next one, let's see, and that's in a cool newsprint type bag that I believe I got from Quilting Grimalkin. And she's an Etsy shop, Quilting Grimalkin. And she will post bags on Instagram to let you know when she's putting new ones in the shop. Boo to you. And I just bought some ivory and black homespun that I intend to use to put this, because I don't think I'm going to do a pillow. I think I'm going to actually do a backboard and mount it. So we'll see. I'm kind of excited about, you know, getting that one going. And then I pulled out one of my Mania starts from 2019 that I've done very little on. And this was a kit. George Decorates for Martha. This was from the Dying to Stitch. It was a club kit last fall. I would assume that this is about to be released by Paulette. So I have just a very small start. Because we got this last fall, and they usually leave them exclusive for about a year. And again, in an absolutely beautiful Linda Jo bag, Pretty Southern. Small kit, so it can go right in, which I'm really happy about. And I just attach my own little tag to tell me what's in there. George Decorates for Martha. And then my next one, for plans wise, leads me to, I mentioned that my birthday is next month, and my good friend Becky, who I've mentioned on numerous occasions and videos and things, Socks for Mom on Instagram, she and I both share an October birthday. So when we were talking about that, she's like, well, let's do a sal. And Becky, if you know Becky, she's up for any kind of sal anytime. So we pulled out, I don't know, we each had a bunch of patterns. We did some stash diving and kept pulling different ones out. What about this? What about that? And one morning I was looking through and I was like, oh, you know what? I love this book. I love this book. And so I messaged her and said, what do you think about doing this one? And she was like, oh, I have that book. I love that too. So there it is, closer up. And it's at First Cock's Crow in the Sisters book from Blackbird Designs. And then it was, okay, let's dig around for some fabric. So I'm gonna do mine on Weeks Cocoa, 35 count cocoa, which I think is gonna look really nice. And I've dug through and pulled out a few called for threads. And I should have got these in, you know, order ahead of time so that I could do the nice presentation and petting that you're supposed to do, right, of your floss. But, so there's the colors. And I think that's gonna look really nice. Isn't that gonna be pretty? So that is going to be the hashtag OCT Sisters Birthday B-Day Sal. Oct Sisters B-Day Sal. And we actually did post it on our Instagrams. You do not have to have an October birthday to stitch this with us. If you want to stitch this particular design, or any design, doesn't even have to be, we're not calling it the Blackbird, you know, project or anything like that. You can stitch whatever you want, but join in if you want to. Anyway, you can use the hashtag Oct Sisters B-Day Sal. So that's going to be fun. That starts October 1st. The last thing I wanted to kind of go through for plans is my good friend Cynthia Brewer on Instagram, and she is on Flosstube Stitching in the Light, Cynthia. She and Olivia are going to be doing hashtag the Great Pumpkin Sal. And she decided that in addition to stitching, just for a stitch along, she wanted to make the project have a larger impact for good. And so she's going to host a raffle as a fundraiser to support Freedom Shield Foundation, international agency. They have offices in I think 4 countries, I believe. And so you can go to the link freedomshield.org. I'm going to put the information below in the description box. And basically she has reached out to several floss tubers and friends. And Cynthia is actually part of my Tuesday night Zoom group as well. And she doesn't live too far from me. And asked us if we would be willing to donate something, a bag, you know, needle book, strawberry, you know, whatever, that we would give away through our Flosstube channel. And let us, you know, we're just gonna let her know we wanna participate. So I'm definitely gonna participate. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put together a kit. So beginning October 1st, how you can enter to win the prize, and how you would do that is you're going to go online to Freedom Shield, and you're going to make an online donation. Minimum is $5 for 1 entry, $10 for 2 entries, etc. And then send a screenshot of the receipt to Cynthia's email, which is sincerelycynthia.cb@gmail.com. I'll put all that information below in the description box. And then October 31st, she's going to randomly draw however many winners for the prizes available from the donations that were sent to her. And so her goal is to raise $1,502. How should they come up with that amount? Is it's the average amount to rescue and provide counseling for 1 victim. So basically she needs 300 entries of the minimum $5 to make that goal. Hopefully, you know, you'll end up with a lot more. I just think it's the smallest thing we can do to donate $5 for the chance to win something that, you know, we all love, right? Project bags, could be something already stitched, a needle book, it could be a strawberry, it could be a kit like I'm gonna do. You know, I mean, and you're helping someone. You're helping someone get out of an untenable situation. So on my next video, which hopefully will be in about 2 weeks, I'll have the kit put together, and I will show you exactly what's gonna be my donation to Cynthia's raffle. And it'll be a chance for you to do something, really good, and maybe win something really fun in the process. So, I've gone on a little long today, had a lot to show and talk about. So, anyway, I wanted to say thank you so much if you've stuck with me for this long, and hopefully everyone is staying well, doing well. This weekend is Labor Day weekend. I am actually going to not work this weekend. So if you're ordering from the shop, just know there won't be any shipping on Saturday. And of course, Monday's the holiday. So orders will be backed up a little bit for a couple of days as I catch up when I start again on Tuesday. There are a lot of new things in the shop. Ramping up fall and winter stitching like crazy. There are the designers, every day there's another designer email with new releases. Liz Matthews is coming out with some just fantastic things. I think she just showed that on her Flosstube. Kathy Barrick just had some things. I just stocked quite a few things from Isabella from the Primitive Hair. Matter of fact, some of the linen that I had gotten in from her literally went out the door within 24 hours and is gone. So I've got a message into Kim to see about getting some more of the linen. Anyway, so every day I'm trying to list new things, but just be aware there will be a bit of a time lapse there in getting things out the door while the weekend is going, and I want to spend some time with my daughter Savannah. I'll put that announcement on the shop as well as a reminder, but I know sometimes when people quickly go to their phone and just do a buy it now, if they see something, they don't actually pay attention to the shop announcements. So thought I would put that out there now. But thank you so much, for hanging with me, for tuning in to see what I show or what I talk about. I really appreciate all of the subscribers so much, and your comments are so nice. If you win something for me, you don't have to send a thank you card, but I did want to show that I got the most beautiful thank you card. My thanks is to you. You don't have to send, a thank you back to me, but this was from Gail. She won the Scary Apothecary prize package that I had given away on the last video, and just sent the sweetest card. And of course it's sunflowers, which is so nice. So I actually took it out, but I've got it propped in a little frame thing. But my thanks is actually to you for spending, your time with me. And I really appreciate it. And I hope you'll come back and spend time with me again in a couple of weeks. So in the meantime, create every day. Thank you so much.